I know that ain't who I think it is.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a worm, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. I know that ain't who I think it is.
Y'all want to see a dead body? Y'all want to see a dead body?
In my mind.
You can kill all the black folks you want to, baby, but you will not kill the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought every one of your damn lousy wars, baby, and you give us nothing. Now the war is going to be here, but we're going to be free. Now you kill you want to, but we kill too.
I know that ain't who I think it is. Me to reintroduce myself.
I knew there was one left. Good afternoon, family. What's going on? It's Monday afternoon. If you're catching this on the live, you're catching it on the replay. I don't know what day it's going to be when you catch it on the replay, but we are here. Absolutely, Sister Fate, we are here. My sister Riri is in the house, in the building. Be the power, Riri. I have a love for this lady like no other, because she has actually held me down in this reparation space so beautifully. She always kicks the real to me. And, you know, where we've been, dealing with the hashtag, dealing with, being an American freedman. We've had some other conversations, that have been off the chain, and right now she's on the mend. So I definitely want to acknowledge her before I even get started today. I wanted to do it at the open yesterday, but I got cooking with Brother Will, and I did not do so. But I am here. Ree is here. Sister Fate is here. Free is here. So, we're going to cook a little bit today on gatekeepers, because we've got a lot of them. And it's an unfortunate thing. It's an unfortunate thing that we've got gatekeepers at this stage, because I believe what's happened is we've trusted people so long to do the right things, dealing with Messiah leadership. And the reason I put that iconic picture up today of little Michael Evans holding Black Jesus, well, as we know it now, Ned the Wino. What's going on, Brother Tyrone? The reason I put that up is because it's the same kind of fallacy that we have been under, the same kind of guys that we have been under for the last, I don't know how many years. I mean, y'all probably would know longer than I, because when I got into dealing with reparative justice and really talking about it and looking at it on a daily basis, I was really coming out of that mindset of having been a church member, a man of God for so many years. And when I slowed up on going to church, just because organized religion is nothing but organized crime, I had to look at myself and said, what's really real out here? And it's not that I don't think church isn't real, because I think church is as real as a person can make it for themselves, for their family. But I don't believe in these prosperity pimps. I don't believe in anybody that is not speaking for Black liberation 100% of the time. See, most pastors are speaking for God's liberation, but I'm speaking for Black liberation. I'm speaking for American freedmen liberation. And most pastors aren't talking about that. Okay, most pastors still got white Jesus up in the church. They don't have this image, let alone another image with melanin in their skin. So those people are already going against the code. They're already going against what we need to be looking towards. And, there ain't no point in me trying to fight that, fight this, fight those. I'm going to fight for reparative justice. I'm going to fight for American freedmen. I'm going to fight for our liberation before I fight for anything else. So I appreciate everybody getting up in here early. But that is the reason that I chose Michael Evans as my lead thumbnail, lead slide, whatever you want to call it today, just because that's as real as it needs to get. Anything else that we're going to do out here, thanks, Free. Anything else that we're going to do out here, we've got to at least follow what we really believe in. And I know that there's people out there that don't believe in reparative justice. Here's the thing. If you don't believe in reparations, and I heard this from an elder, if you don't believe in reparations, just don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. If you don't believe that people that descend from slaves deserve reparations, are owed reparations, just don't talk to me. I'm not going to argue with you anymore. There's absolutely no reason for me to argue with you anymore. I can't argue. I can't argue with a fool. See, that's a fool to believe that the people that put this country together and have held it together aren't owed anything, where there's been transients that have come onto this soil and still reap benefits and subsidies and resources and all types of stuff, and they did not do anything to build this country. So if you don't believe in it, I get it. I have no problem with it. I'm not going to argue with you, because there is no argument where I'm concerned. So what we have to do is we just have to move on. You may rock with me, you may not rock with me, but I can't talk to you anymore if you don't believe in it. And that's why people, when they follow politicians and the politician tells them that they are against reparations, how can you support that politician? I was rocking with people and on Twitter and they come into some of my streams and things like that, and they would tell me some of the politicians they were following, and these people were vehemently against reparations. I'm like, how can you support somebody that is against your people? How can you do that? How can you put yourself under their leadership when they don't want you to move from square one. Because reparations, redress, recompense, whatever you want to call it, would even the playing field in this country. And I'm not saying that black folks haven't done anything, they're not going to do anything, and that we're not eating out here. Of course we're eating. But look at how we're eating, okay? Look at how we're eating. See, people can come to this soil right now, and within 30 days, they are set up with transportation, they are set up with housing, they are set up with their kids being able to go to school, and they're en route to being gainfully employed within 30 days. Whereas there are American freedmen on this soil right now that are being shut out and shut down every which way but loose, and nobody's saying anything. And that's because I believe that America is starting to get tired. They're starting to get tired knowing that if they finally give in, it's really gonna rock the boat. It's really gonna rock the boat. And that's why we have to stop getting behind gatekeepers. Black leaders are always going to fail Black Americans. We've seen this time and time again. I mean, you can go with the CBC, you can go with any of your local politicians and everybody in between. They're going to continue to fail us if we don't make the demands. I see some of these cities and states starting to try to work on local reparations. They're not reparations. Reparations can only come from Washington, D.C. Reparations can only come from Washington, D.C. My brother Brian Simpson, much love, peace, love, and reparations to you. Thanks, sis. Absolutely. It's the Boule Bourgeoisie bootlicks. We know who it is. The Boule Bourgeoisie bootlicks are keeping their knee on American freedmen's necks. Not people of color, not BIPOC, not minorities, but I'm talking about American freedmen. They've ignored us. They've ignored their own kind. See, and that's the problem, is that something that happens with our people. And I'm not saying as a collective, but many of our people will get theirs and forget theirs. They get theirs and then they forget theirs. This happens all the time. So I'm so used to it, I don't even get angry anymore. I don't let it put me in a funk anymore. I used to cuss and do all kinds of stuff when I would think about some of these people. Now I just look at them and laugh. Because there's going to be a day. There's going to be a day of reckoning. I mean, when I thought about what happened in San Francisco, and I really, really broke it down, and I said, you know what? There ain't no point in me just riding Amos Brown just like all these other casters did it. I said what I said. I did. I said what I said. But then I looked at the core of everything, y'all. I looked at the core of everything. And when you look at the core of something, you know where it came from. The core is where the seed is. We know where Amos came from. We know what he's been about. We know what he's about right now. So why do we need to get angry at old Amos? Old Amos, we don't need to get angry at old Amos, but we need to get to the core of who Amos is. And if we're going to get to the core of who Amos is, then I think we need to break it down. And I'm willing to break it down. Let's break it down. We ain't got nothing but a little time in here. Been in here about 14 minutes. I'm going to give you another 14, and then I'll check on you at about 28 minutes. This is what Amos said we need as a people, y'all. He said this. Number one, we need to invest in education. Black students don't perform well as their peers. Are you serious, Amos? You trying to tell me that black students don't perform well as well as their peers? Well, we kind of know that, right? We kind of know that we don't perform as well as our peers on a local level. This is not on a global level. This is on a local level. because there's plenty of black students out there excelling in the educational system, whether it be K through 12, whether it be, higher institutions of learning that they're going to, PWIs, HBCUs, trade schools, whatever. But he's speaking very locally with this. We need remedial programs to help our children with reading, math, and science. The school district and the city have a moral obligation to raise up all children. To raise up all children? To raise up all children. Sounds like a rising tide lifts all boats, especially those whose families have been disadvantaged by discrimination. Now, that could be anybody this day and age. There's so many people that they say that have been disadvantaged by discrimination. That doesn't necessarily mean American freedmen, or as some people still like to say, African American, or as some people like to say, Black American, or as some people like to say, Afro American, or some people like to say, colored, or as some people like to say, nigger. Number 2, economic empowerment. With President Biden's infrastructure bill, we want to see more black people get the opportunity to get jobs on the billions of dollars in infrastructure work that will be done in our community and in our state. So now we're going to rely on what old Joe's putting in place. What old Joe's putting in place, we're going to sit and rely on that. Why would we rely on something that Joe Biden is going to put in place? When Joe Biden got up there the night he got elected, and said the black community kept his campaign moving and they pushed him over the top. Had it not been for us, he would have died. He would have died. His campaign would have died. But we put him in office. And when we put him in office, he said, "You had my back. I'm going to have yours." And what did he do? The next day, the first piece of legislation that he went out and signed was for the LGBTQIAP. The next piece of legislation that he went out and signed was for Latinos. A couple months later, he went out and signed something for Asians. Black people still standing in that same line with their tin cup. Them African Americans. They still standing in that same line. Why though? Why are we still standing in that same line that's painted blue? Vote blue no matter who. Vote blue no matter who. What'd you say, sis? Only for them to turn around and say we have slots for blacks, but can't find enough of them to fill. Yeah. I'm not sure how we've gotten to being slotted. You've got millions upon millions of American freedmen out here who would qualify for contract work, construction work, and they're never chosen. They're never, ever chosen. You can't tell me that people aren't bidding for jobs, that people aren't applying for contract and construction jobs, but they've moved on. 8 out of 10 construction sites where you used to see mostly white people, you'll see more Latino people on them, but you still ain't seeing no black folks. That comes from your local politics too. Because your local politicians are in on it too. They trying to move in the brown folks. They talk that black and brown shit, but they ain't really talking that black shit. They just talking that brown shit. And I know everybody wants to believe who they put in office is going to do right by them, but you can't believe nothing until you see something. You can't believe nothing until you see something. Number 3, we want more housing, more public housing, more affordable housing. Amos just wants us to stay renting. When generational wealth 101, we know this to be home ownership. He ain't pushing for nobody to buy a home. He just wants people to rent homes. He just wants people to get Section 8. He just wants people to get some subsidies, some vouchers. He ain't looking to build generational wealth amongst American freedmen or for blacks, as he says. There should be preferential treatment for blacks to keep our people in the city. Who wants to live in a city that they can't afford to live in? So if you live in the city of San Francisco and you ain't got no money, where you going to live? You're going to live in the ghetto. San Francisco has fallen from 16% black population to 5%. Why? Because they priced you out the game, Amos. And this is all around the country. We need a new version of 40 acres and a mule. No, the only mule I need is the one that's going to kick Amos out of office. But I'll take my 25 city blocks. I'll take my 40 acres, absolutely. But I don't need a mule. If you can't give me a rack of tractors, then I don't need nothing. And not only do I need the tractors, but I need the money to be able to perk that land, to be able to build on that land, to be able to make something substantive on that land. Don't just give me no land. See, I ain't Killer Mike. I'm fat and I'm black, but I ain't Killer Mike. I just don't believe we just need land. Now, we need money. We need money. If you're going to give me some land, give me some money. Don't give me no land. What am I going to do, sleep on it? I don't need just no land. I need some resources. And this is what we're dealing with out here. We're dealing with these same politicians, same ones, over and over. And they keep telling us the same things. They keep telling us the same things. I feel like they need to be playing this.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Because that's all they doing is reintroducing shit.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Same policies, new name.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
That's all they doing to us, y'all. When we gonna stop that shit? When we gonna stop that shit? We gotta stop listening. We gotta stop listening. And I'm not telling anybody to stop voting, but we got to vote smarter. We got to grill politicians before the election. Once they get elected, they gone the other way. Just like that Montgomery mayor, he said, I can get 38 to 45% of the white vote. I don't even need the black vote. Don't you think that other black politicians think that way? Don't you think that every black politician thinks that way? If they get a certain amount of the white vote, they know the black people going to fall in line just on the color in the crayon box. They going to vote for me just cuz. I'll get 50, 60, 70% of them just cuz. And in these local elections, you don't need 50, 60, 100,000 votes. Some of these local elections, you get 2,000 votes and get in office. And a local politician says that if I get 38 to 45% of the white vote, he just looking for the whites. He know he gonna get in office because he know the rest of them people gonna be asleep. Now, I don't need nobody to be woke. I'm so sick of that word. That word is getting thrown out. I looked at a video I did about 6-7 years ago, and I used the term woke, and I was like, oh, I almost threw up in my mouth. I was like, damn, I said that. Back in the day, I guess I said it. 6-7 years ago, I said woke in my video. It's these politicians that are creating these buffer classes. Absolutely. See, y'all on it. Y'all know. That's why y'all here. That's why y'all here. See, I appreciate y'all. What I would like from y'all, I would like you to be sharing these videos too. Because if I got y'all in the chat and I got y'all kicking out this ism to me, a lot of times y'all teach me stuff as I'm moving along within the stream. I need you to go out there kicking it to your people. Share these videos. Like the video. Y'all in the algorithm already with your comments, but share these videos. Push the message out there. Push the message out there. I got, I push my stuff through Facebook. I got like 1,500 Facebook friends, something like that. So I know if I get 150 people on Facebook just to watch the video, what I need people on Facebook to do is to share it 150 times. I don't expect more than ever 10% of the people that I'm engaging with. I got like 600 YouTube subscribers. If I get 60 views on my YouTube stream, then I know that that's 10%. As a marketing, a salesperson, I know. You get more than 10%, you doing something. But for the most part, that's all you should really ever expect out of your efforts is 10%. I get it. I'll take 5 million. Absolutely. Absolutely. Give me my 5 mil and let me see what I can do with it, Reverend Deacon Dr. Doug. I'll do what I need to do with it. Give me my 5 mil and let me see what I can do. Because, see, he talking about that ain't enough. We need more. Is anything in 1 through 3 that he said equal to my brother Tyrone? I appreciate you. As a content creator, he understands the movement of the message. He has a platform. And actually, if you're on Facebook, make sure that you do join I Thought You Knew. Appreciate you, bro. But if you see anything through 1 through 3 that actually equates 5 million, I don't think so. I ain't seen it. And I know I'm just in the middle of the housing, but let me finish with that. He says, we need a new version of the 40 acres and a mule that benefits and assists blacks to live and thrive in San Francisco, a city that has done everything it can to drive us out through discrimination, even as wholesale removal through urban renewal programs in the 1960s and 70s. Look, Amos. You didn't help us then. We don't need you going back talking about it then. If you sat on your hands in the 60s and 70s, we don't need you talking about it in 2023. What we need you to do is get in a couple boxes and get the fuck up out of the paint. Get a couple boxes, pack your shit up, and get up out the paint. That's what we need for Amos to do. Because Amos is lost. He back here and he talking about the 60s and the 70s. The next thing's going to come up is a Dr. Martin Luther King quote. Damn that. Number 4, healthcare. Blacks don't have the lifespan as the majority of the population. Once again, more Democratic talking points. We already know we don't live as long as other folks. We already know we have disproportionate health issues. We already know this. We need programming, and he spelled that wrong, that positively impacts our health, our longevity, and our mental health. You know what program that will help that out? $5 million. And like I've already told y'all, I didn't think it was going to happen one day. If there was 2 black people in San Francisco, they wouldn't have gave up $10 million. But the fact that he was against it, we can really amplify the fact that he said 5 million wasn't enough. I heard him say it, came out of his mouth when he was being interviewed. He said 5 million wasn't enough. They needed more. They needed some of this. They needed some of that. Now he talks about we need programming, which is spelled wrong. I'm going to be hard on all this. He coming from the NAACP. And he ain't even got spell check on, but he old as hell too. So I know a lot of old politicians, they using typewriters. They ain't even really using computers and spell checks. So he probably don't get that red line up under his words. He probably on a typewriter, and then he hands it off to somebody, and they just basically go back over what he wrote. That positively affects our health, our longevity, and our mental health. So basically what you're saying is we need repair, Amos. We need repair. Okay, yeah, we'll need better health care. But you know how I can get better health care? Give me my reparations. Because part of reparations should be free health care. I don't believe we should be paying for health care as American freedmen in this country anyway. They built the world of American medicine, because so many people have come here and built medical platforms and took them back to other countries, the things that they learned here. And the world of American medicine, the world of it, the whole globe of it, started with our bodies. They did experiments on us. They didn't do no experiments on no other people on this soil but us. You can start with our women. They built the world of gynecology off of American freedmen women. And they know this. They know this. They try to act like it ain't never happened. They know this. That's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a very POC progressive manifesto, a BIPOC-ish manifesto, a minority manifesto, but it is not for American freedmen. Calculated derelicts. That's the problem, Free. They calculated. They're doing what they're doing on purpose. They are looking around American freedmen on purpose. The very people that elevated them to the positions to be able to get to where they are with the NAACP, they are ignoring them now. Gatekeepers. I've said it before and I'm going to keep saying it. Black leaders will continue to fail Black Americans. Whether it be the Black Democrats, whether it be the CBC, whether it be your local politicians. And you know who's really dangerous out here? You know who's really dangerous out here? Boy, a biracial politician, got Freedmen blood and some other blood in him, that he's dangerous. Let me tell you, he's dangerous because he's generally not going to lean Freedmen. He's going to be a POC. He's going to be a POC. And let me get this comment in for Sister Faith. And to this day, Black women are dying more often than yes. The infant mortality rate here where I am is worse than everybody else combined in this county. Look it up. I've done cast on it. They've printed articles on it. Look it up. Yes. And to be honest, I'm not going to even go into this whole Fillmore Heritage Center, because that ain't nothing but a notch that he wants on his belt when he dies to say that he had something to do. Harlem of the West. That's original. Amos, next. You're out of it. Sorry. But these talking points, he absolutely is the worst. What they do to us, what they do to us is they keep us hemmed in with these same beliefs. We can't learn. We can't find jobs. We can't find housing. We don't have adequate health care. All of this changes with repair. And they know this. They know this. There's been accountants, there's been economists, there's been attorneys, there's been all types of people that have put real reparative justice plans together. And all politicians have to do is sit down and say, okay, we need to push for these acts of atonement on local levels, and we definitely need to be pushing for them on the federal level. But we can't get people to do that. We get hemmed up into figuring out what we gonna call ourselves. What we gonna be there today? What we gonna be today? What we gonna call ourselves today? Give me the $5 million and I'll take the tax-free donation. Yes. I'll drop a tithe off, Amos. Give me my $5 million. And I ain't even a California resident, but give me my $5 million. And you know what, Amos? Hey, I'll drop a 50 ball off on you. Absolutely. You give me my $5 million, I'll drop a 50 ball off on you. How about that? I sure will. I'll give you 1% of what I got, bro. Absolutely. I'll give you 1% of what I got. Get you a tithe. I ain't gonna give you 10%. I ain't giving you $500,000. You forget that. You ain't gonna get that type of tithe, pastor. Amos Brown, trying to tell you, he was in that first line of loincloths. Amos Brown. Yes, he was in that first line of loincloths. Absolutely. Donations, gifts. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Gifts. But here's something that really ain't that funny, and it's actually several years old. So keep in mind, I did not go looking for a current report. This was posted, and I screenshotted it. This is where we were in 2015. And the reason I didn't need to look at a new one, because I know that data has come out and we haven't moved much up the totem pole, let's say. So what I wanted to say to this, as I look at this, we're at the bottom, of course. We know the median Black family is worth right around, well, pre-COVID. So here's the thing. Pre-COVID, we was worth right around $1,700. The median Black family. $1,700. That was pre-COVID, y'all. That was before all the PPP scam money. That was before all the stimulus benefits. That was before all the stuff. I don't know what we worth now. Okay. I don't know what we worth now. But when you look at the median households, look at who they list. This is America. So they put America into everything. They got the Indian Americans, the Filipino Americans, the Taiwanese Americans, the Sri Lankan Americans, Japanese Americans, Malaysian Americans, Chinese American, Pakistan. See, but here's the thing. I always like to break this down. When they start talking about giving up Asian benefits, that Filipino, Taiwanese, Japanese, Malaysian, Chinese, Korean, that all goes under Asian. Thai, that all goes under Asian. You understand? That goes under Asian. They don't be trying to sit around and figure out what they're getting called. No, they take that Asian benefit. Ain't nobody fighting over who's getting called what. You call them resource. That's what you call them. You call them resourced. And there's several Asian listings here. That's why when people start talking that, trying to close the racial wealth gap, what am I trying to close it between? Us and white people? Look where white people are. They're in the middle of the pack. Who thrives to be in the middle of the pack? Who wants to be in the middle of the pack? Why aren't we striving to be where the Indian Americans are, the Filipino Americans? You know, why are we striving to close the racial wealth gap between us and the white Americans in the middle of the pack? And just below them is the average American. What the hell is the average American? What does that mean? The average American? The average American is below the white American. So what is the white American? The average American? So what are African Americans? Below average Americans? The fuck out of here. They made something up to make a stat. The average American. What is the average American? I need to know. I need to know like Joe. We at the bottom because it's systemically set. I felt like I was about to stutter there. It is systemically set. We're not at the bottom because we're not trying hard. We're not at the bottom because we're not working hard. We're not at the bottom because we listen to rap music. Rap music killing the black communities. We stopped listening to rap music. Stop all this gun violence. We got to sell these guns back to the police. We got to try harder. We got to go to school. We got to get better health care. We need some better health care for some longevity. We got to get some longevity. I already told you, I'm not interested in staying anywhere long broke. I don't stick around nowhere if I ain't got no money. It's systemic. And when you have a system and you need to change that system, if you can't implement things into that system to change it, then you reset the system. But how do you reset this? And this was 7 to 8 years ago. And I didn't just want to have this up because it's a dated form. I get it. It's a dated chart. What's that, Brother Tyrone? You said it's automatic. I wanted to show that this data was indeed out there. The U.S. Census Bureau put this out there when Barack Obama was president, because I argued with many of people who said that Barack Obama did a lot for Black Americans. I was like, he sure did. He sure did. He did a lot to make sure we stayed at the bottom. Now, I don't know what he did for the average Americans or the white Americans, but I know what he did for African Americans. I don't know what he did for the Indian Americans, the Filipino Americans, the Taiwanese Americans, the Sri Lankan Americans, the Japanese Americans, but I know what he did for African Americans. I don't know what he did for Malaysian Americans, Chinese Americans, Pakistani Americans, Korean Americans, Indonesian Americans, Thai Americans, Bangladeshi Americans, Nepali Americans. And how do you have Hispanic and Latino Americans outdoing African Americans? Must have had to change the system up a little bit. Like how they throwing all them Latino people over in the black neighborhoods in Chicago. When there is a full, all-out Spanish-speaking neighborhood that they could have threw them in, but they're going to throw them in where the blacks is at. You could throw them where they people is, where they can speak what they people speak, but you're going to throw them where the blacks is. You automatically creating friction. That's your Democrats there. That's your black Democrats there. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what your vote blue no matter who do. Speaking of Chicago, as we move right along, not a single student in Chicago's 55 schools is proficient in reading or math. Not a single student. 55 schools. You know how many kids that is in Chicago? Do you know how many kids that is in Chicago? The average Americans are the mutts, the ones that aren't pure white. Even they come before. Yes. See, I'll let y'all say that. I'll let y'all say that. Because when y'all say that, that means y'all see that. Those might be the biracials. The biracial, the triracials, the quadracials, mixed, the BIPOCs, the POCs. That don't qualify to be somewhere else. They don't qualify to be a Latino. They don't qualify to be an Asian. They don't qualify to be a Pakistani, Hindu. Yeah, that's who the average Americans are. That's who the average Americans are. And we're below the average Americans. Hell, we below the Latino Americans. But y'all keep calling out black and brown people. Every time I hear somebody say black and brown people, I just cringe. I do. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances to hear our people say black and brown people. Man, call them what they are. Stop trying to put us with them. We don't get what they get, and they don't get what we get, because we don't get shit. You understands me? We don't get nothing. Stop calling them what they are. Aren't, excuse me. So I read this and I was insulted. Not a single student is proficient in reading or math at 55 Chicago schools. That's a shame. That's an absolute shame. I didn't say excelling. I said proficient. Proficient, y'all. You know how harmful that is? You know how dangerous that is? And when you get people around here talking about all these programs that they want to start to try to help kids stop committing crimes and stop trying to, how come we don't start right here with the educational system? The educational system is broke. Because I don't believe that we are a remedial people. I believe we work ourselves into remedial states. Absolutely. I don't believe we start out as remedial. How many times have y'all heard when they talk about like crime figures or you know, anybody that's of some type of infamous notoriety, where they could say he could have been a CEO of a company. He could have been anything. He could have been anything, but he chose a life of crime. He chose a life of crime. But he was smart enough to run a criminal enterprise and beat the law for 20, 30 years. But he could have been anything. I mean, hell, you know, and y'all know where I'm at with celebrity. Look at Robert Kelly. Robert Kelly's written some of the greatest musical compositions of all time in soul music, pop music. He illiterate. He illiterate, y'all. He illiterate. He writes songs, but he can't write. He writes songs, but he can't read. He's illiterate. What's up with the teachers? Are they not teaching credentials? What's absolutely, there's a whole lot happening here. But I always say our education starts at home. Our education starts at home. And as a mother or a father or a grandmother or a grandfather, if your first thing that you got to do is just to make sure that y'all don't get your heads blown off because you got so much stuff going on in your neighborhoods. Because kids don't start out as gangbangers. You ain't gonna see no gangbanger coming out for preschool. So when they start talking all that black on black crime, I just like to leave all that alone. Kids don't come out gangbangers. They don't come out throwing up sets. These are learned behaviors. These are inherited behaviors. But if you a parent and you're trying to bring your kid up in an environment, but you have a hard time keeping the lights on, you having a hard time keeping food on the table, you having a hard time keeping clothes on their back, you've got so many worries before you can even crack a book that by the time the kids do get ready to go to school, you sending them out there with nothing, with minimal resources. So a lot of these schools in the inner cities, they go to school, they wear uniforms. Hell, they got programs now that if you subsidize, you can get free uniforms. So the parents don't have to buy school clothes. They just got to fill out the app to get the free uniforms. And if they get the free uniforms, what else do they get free? They get free lunch. They probably get the free breakfast program. Most meals in some of these cities, areas throughout the country, most meals that these kids eat are at school. They don't eat the same amount of food at home as they do in school. He's a musical genius. Absolutely. He's a musical genius. A musical genius that is illiterate. I mean, Stevie Wonder's a musical genius, but he's blind. Robert Kelly had both eyes and can't read a lick. But look at where Robert Kelly is today. Something tells me that if Robert Kelly had a different type of educational upbringing, and I know he encountered some things from what I'm hearing, but I still believe that his inability to be able to read and write also helped put him where he is. He's undoubtedly a sexual deviant. I get it. I get it. But a lot of that comes from an idle mind. If you don't fill that mind with some type of intel, then you've got a whole lot of room in there to do a whole lot of deviant thinking. But if he was thinking about something else, a book, math, English, social studies, whatever, maybe, just maybe, his mind would have turned out different. Just maybe. So this was hard. This was hard to look at. And I read that and read and broke the stats down. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Not one student 55 schools. Now, I don't know exactly how many schools we got in Washtenaw County. I want to go look. I want to know how many. Let me see if I can actually look that up. Let me see if I can look that up.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that. Number of schools. I'm just trying to get a gauge. Number of schools in Washtenaw County. I know we got more. Good Lord. He wants to break everything down, dude. I just want to know how many schools. Okay, I got it. We got 100 schools in Washtenaw County. So half of the county, and we've got in this county about 400,000 people. So half of the county schools would have to be illiterate. A little bit less, a little bit more, 55. Now, we don't have 55 whole schools that are not proficient in reading or math, but I can definitely lead you to some areas where there are American Freedmen students who are definitely functioning beneath the proficiency levels in reading or math in this county. And I want to know, for my sake, what's specifically being done for those, what extra steps are being taken for those to bring them up. Because if they just continue to function beneath and you continue to pass them along, no child left behind, no child left behind, no child left. But that was the dumbest shit ever. No child left behind. So basically, we don't give a shit how dumb you are. We gonna move you right along with your class. And when you graduate, you won't even be able to read the scribe on your diploma. And then they expect you to go out and be gainfully employed because you ain't going to nobody's college. So now you got to go out and get a job. How you going to fill out the job application? You can't read or write proficiently. You can read and write, but you just can't do it proficiently. How you going to do it? It just says 55 schools. I can go back and find the actual article. I'll ship it. I'll ship it to you so you can see it. It didn't really break down the levels, but 55 schools, you have to believe that it is a gumbo of schools, elementary, intermediate, and high schools. Absolutely. You have to believe that. And when we talk about, say, your kid gets out of high school and they didn't make it to the level where they're going to be able to go to a trade school, you know, maybe barbering, maybe skilled trades, you know, CNA, whatever, you know, broadcasting even, you know, they don't even have the proficiency levels to be able to pass their entrance exam. So what they've got to do is they've got to go find themselves a job. They've got to go find themselves a job, y'all. And how they're going to find themselves a job with this happening everywhere now. Y'all know what that is? You know what that is? Have you seen that lately? Have you seen one of those pop up in your community yet? Do you know what you're looking at? Do you know where we're going to? Yeah. Have you seen that? I need to know that. A lot of people ain't seen that apparatus yet. But when I see it, this is what I say.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
I just look right at it because I know exactly what it is.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Mm-hmm. I know what it is. It's a carry-out machine. You see, there ain't no human standing next to it because no human is needed for you to get your food. You can make your order. You can pay for your order right there. Then it's going to spit you out a ticket and your food is going to get shoved into a hole. And when your thing comes up, excuse me, when your thing comes up, you put your ticket in there and the door going to open. Nobody can get your food. Nobody can get your food because you're going to have to, it's probably going to have a QR code match up and then the door come open and then you can get your food. Mm-hmm. Y'all ain't seen one of them yet? I've seen them. Only online. I ain't seen one locally yet. We still got humans at the Mickey Fickies around here. We still got humans. Oh, yeah. So when your kid can't read when they get out of school in some of these places around the country and they go into a McDonald's looking for a job, yeah, this is who got your kid's job because they can't read. This is who's going to be working. Don't worry about none of this no more. You ain't have to worry about this no more. Don't worry about where you at on this. No. These people ain't even replacing your kids no more. They working on trying to replace us. They working on our erasure, and we helping them strictly by voting blue, no matter who. I get it. They're coming, free. They're coming. But this is what's replacing us right here. And for all y'all folks that might have small children and you don't want to get out of the car, or you just lazy as hell and you don't want to get out of the car, here you go. McDrive-through. McDrive-through.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's Robot McDonald. That's Ronald's artificial intelligent brother. Yeah. That's Robot McDonald. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Here's the thing. Let me skip over to here. Let me skip to Malou. Who's the bottom two people on this chart, y'all? See, when I talk, I do talk from an American freedman's perspective. I do advocate for American freedmen. I do speak up for American freedmen. But I tell you what, I don't know who's speaking up for the Hispanics besides the Democratic Party. But they right next to us. They gonna get replaced too. Oh, yeah. Our McDonald's right around the corner. It's full of Latinos. Got a couple Arabic people there, and it's owned by an Arab. Yep. It's owned by an Arab. And he believes in hiring black and brown people. Wait till he gets the technology over at his site. The only brown people's going to be over there is them bags. That's Robot McDonald. Yeah. Hispanic and black folks at the bottom. But they slowly moving the Hispanics up. They slowly moving the Hispanics up. But as long as they keep weighing us down with all the illegals popping in, that's going to help bring their curve down. We don't really have a whole lot of illegals coming in. So we just systemically there. They numbers get jacked up because of all the ones that they shipping over here. But yeah, that's where we at. That's what it is right now. That McDrive-through is gonna kill us. That McCarry-out is gonna. Don't you think if McDonald's is gonna do it, Wendy's gonna do it, Burger King gonna do it, And any of them other burger joints that ain't in the top 3, they'll get to it at some point too. Fast food services. Look, I just read 27 Burger Kings are shutting down by April 15th in the city of Detroit. Over 400 people about to lose their job. Bam, done. How many of them in Detroit? I said in Detroit. So make sure you put a pin in that. It's in Detroit. In Detroit, 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 Detroit. 27 Burger King's gonna close by April 15th. Over 400 jobs gone. What's the percentage of black people do you think are gonna lose their job at them Burger Kings? Huh? Yeah. That's why we've got to get up off of who we are, what you gonna call us, and get together and figure this out. If you ain't trying to figure things out, I don't even want to talk to you. I already told you, if you anywhere against reparations, I don't want to talk to you. If you're against the repair of our people, I don't want to talk to you. And I'm not going to talk to you. And if you try to force me to talk to you, I'm going to cuss your ass out. I know how to get you up off me. You ain't going to force me to have a conversation with you, dog. You ain't going to force me. We're going to talk about something substantive, but we're not going to talk about what I know to be true and you don't believe in. We don't need to have those dialogues anymore. We're not going to have those dialogues anymore. Absolutely. And you know, we've been a little serious here, but let me slide off a little. This is still serious and it's actually still dangerous. That little situation recently with the youngin' Ja Morant, the little basketball player. He's supposed to be catching wisdom from his elders, and this would be one of his elders. This is somebody that's went through the rigors of playing professional basketball, been in and out of trouble. He understands how you can be so close to losing it all, and he's actually been able to maintain, and now he's actually got a successful after career going. Why would you put this out there? Huh? Why would you put this out there, Steven Jackson? Steven Jackass. I actually shot a gun at somebody when I was in the league, in the NBA. I didn't just show it. I actually shot it. So what are you doing now, challenging Ja? You didn't do shit, dog. You didn't pull the trigger. I pulled the trigger. What kind of shit is that? Why would you even announce that? Why would that be something you would want him or any of these other youngins out here who are going to do the same thing and fuck up and shoot somebody in the process? They probably won't be in a strip club. They probably won't be laying in the midst of $50,000 to $100,000 and having sex with a stripper who's already had sex with 3 other men that night. They probably won't be as unfortunate as Ja, because I know he got a lot of money. I know he can do whatever he wants. But if you in a strip club and you having sex with a woman that's already had sex with multiple men before you got there that night, because before he lost the basketball game to the Denver Nuggets, she had already had sex with several men before he got to the club. And once he got to the club, then she had sex with him. They don't talk about that. They don't talk. That's a sorry situation, dog. You went to a strip club to have sex with somebody that's been run through already that night and every other night of the week, threw $50,000 around the champagne room, and then flashed a gun when there's no guns allowed in the strip club. And as an NBA player, you're not allowed to travel with a gun. So you shouldn't have had a gun. And how'd you get a gun? Because the gun can't get into the locker room. So how'd you get a gun? So you wanted to do all that and throw everything away. And now you got this old nigga right here telling you didn't do shit. You just pointed it. I shot it. This is another problem. And it's another part of our society. That entertainment part of our society that is really problematic. It's very problematic. Because where he should be giving up wisdom to Ja Morant and every other youngin' out here, instead he puts this quote together. He puts this dumb shit together and lets it be aired. Really? Really? I actually shot a gun at somebody when I was in the NBA. Really? So he had to one-up Ja for his street cred when he ain't in the street and ain't been in the streets for years. Steven Jackson ain't been in the streets for years. I don't know exactly how old he is, but I would think at this point, he's been rich longer than he hasn't been. See, I gauge that. These guys get their riches in their early 20s, right? So if you're 45, 46, and you played in the NBA, if you got your first money when you 22, 23, and you 45, 46, that means you 23, 24 years out the game or from the game when you started getting paid for it. So you've been rich longer than you've been poor. Dog, stop trying to act like you a gangster. You're not a gangster. Why are you trying to act like you a gangster, dog? That's a problem. That's a real problem. And we've got that, you know, we've got that out here as American freedmen. We have to deal with this. As Black folks, this is who our role models are. These are who our heroes are. These are people laud, they applaud. I'm a rabble rouser. I'm a noisemaker. I'm a loud voice in the community. But this motherfucker right here is given the utmost respect. I actually shot a gun at somebody when I was in the NBA. When I was making several $1 million a year, I actually shot somebody. Really? Really? I mean, is it just me or is it just in my mind? In my mind. I'm tripping. I'm really tripping that stuff like this is where we are as a people. And here was a nice little ditty that actually doesn't include Diddy. Something that we have going on doesn't include Diddy. Thank God. I'm so sick about him getting picked up about Biggie's murder and being a part of Biggie's murder, and Diddy set Biggie up and he didn't. So I'm sick of it. And is he or isn't he? Everybody know what Diddy is. We need to stop talking about it. Let Diddy go. Let Diddy go live who we want to live with, no matter what that boy's name is. Soulja Boy, Neo, Akon, and more charged in multi-million-dollar crypto scheme. Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy. Neo. Akon. I'm glad to see him caught up in something else. I'm so glad to see Akon caught up because I got tired of hearing his name ring out. He done put enough dirt on the American Freedmen name. So here you go, Akon. I guess you are Akon. You're getting locked up. You're going to get locked up. Yeah. Akon going to get locked up, I think. I believe he's going to get locked up personally, because Akon got other stuff hanging too, and they just need to start trumping that together, and he can just be singing from the cell block.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
Locked up. I never really liked his music anyway, so I don't care. It's problematic, dog. You got Shaq running. Shaq's part of crypto scheme, and some other people that's part of crypto schemes. These guys said this stuff was working. They said that do it. They were influencers in this, and they weren't even investing in the crypto stuff. I bet you they didn't let these crypto companies pay them in crypto dollars. I bet you they got their endorsement money in cash. How many celebrities do you think taking their endorsement money to advertise these companies in crypto dollars, or are they getting it in cash? That's kind of hypocritical, ain't it? You believe in this crypto stuff so much, but you still want cash. How come you don't want crypto dollars? How come you don't want crypto? We can give you $10 million for this endorsement, or we can give you 100 million crypto dollars. 10 million cash or 100 million crypto. I see them all taking the cash. I ain't seen nobody say, I endorsed them and I didn't even get no cash out of the deal. I took my whole thing in crypto. No, they taking the cash. Why? Because they know this is bullshit. And I've asked all these people that said that they were making all this money on crypto. Show me the person that walked away with some crypto dollars. Show me. I want to see the big house. I want to see the few luxury cars. I want to see their family just totally tight, businesses, everything. Show me somebody that cashed out on crypto, not these people that we only see on the internet. Walk me up to somebody's door that you know and show me that they cashed out on crypto. I need to see it.
Y'all want to see it, everybody?
Because I ain't seen it. I mean, is it just me?
In my mind.
Or is it just in my mind? I mean, I really want to see somebody that balled out. I want to see somebody that got all that crypto money and just got mansions and got everything, dog, put their kids through college and everything. Because when I see them, I'm gonna open up my arms.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
They're going to have their linen on with their open-toe sandals and shit. You know, standing on they steps that surrounds a $1 million house. Because they got cryptoed out. I want to see it. When I come up the walkway, man, I was, man.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
But all I get is lip service where that crypto stuff comes in. I ain't seen nobody ball out yet. Everybody that got rich off crypto still got jobs. The brothers went in with guns and came out with jobs. So that's what it is. But yeah, man, this was telling, because I just seen a couple other celebrities. They went and got all these celebrities who they knew were highly influential, gave them some endorsement money to pump up a crypto scheme. And these clowns were not only not invested in the crypto scheme, they took cash for it. They took cash. Yeah. There's be a lot of celebrities in prison over the next several years just from doing dumb shit. This isn't even something that they needed to do. This isn't even something that they needed to do. If you got all that money, soldier boy, you always putting that money up to your ear. You always putting that money up to your ear. You always holding these big stacks. What you doing getting involved in a crypto scheme? Neo done wrote songs for everybody. Neo got a catalog. Neo keep going. He gonna end up with a catalog like R. Kelly. Neo keep going. He might end up writing more hits than R. Kelly. Just got to stay on his grind. He got to stay on his grind and out the wedding chapel. He keep getting married and divorced, and he in the wedding chapel, then he in the court. He in the wedding chapel, then he in the court. Come on, Neo, figure it out, bro. Figure it out. But I guess every time he get married, every time he get divorced, that can just kind of create more energy to write more songs. He can write them happy love songs, and he can write them breakup songs. I guess that helps him out. Maybe that gives him inspiration. You know, whatever it is. Akon, yeah, I want to see him behind bars. I want to see him locked up. I want to see Akon locked up. Absolutely. I sure do. I want to see him locked up. I want to see Akon locked up. So this last thing here, I don't think I got any more slides after this. I saw this and I was it's really difficult for me to talk about Hollyweird anymore. And where I know a Jamie Foxx to be, a Martin Lawrence to be, an Eddie Murphy to be. Because I don't really know about Tyler Perry, so. But where I know these other cats to be. Rest in power, Robin Williams. Still probably, to me, the best man in a dress role ever. Mrs. Doubtfire was actually a really funny movie. And I got the play. I got the play at that point. Whereas some of these other roles and agendas that are being set, because I don't know that person in the back there with the blue. I think I may know possibly who the show is, but I don't know the show because I don't watch the show. Not really. I don't watch them. But I believe it's that brother that's on that cable show. Either way, whatever. So I looked at this and I said, you know, Jamie Foxx did that character on In Living Color. And it was a groundbreaking character for him. He was going to make it no matter what. He didn't need that character. It's a groundbreaking character. Martin did Shanae on Martin. Understood. He also did, he did a multitude of characters. He did a multitude of characters. And Shanae was one of them. A scene-stealing character. Eddie did, you know, the character in Nutty Professor and Norbit. And then Martin also had Big Mama's House. Martin done played a woman twice, huh? He's got the Big Mama's House franchise. That Big Mama's House franchise is huge. It's huge in Black cinema history now. I don't quite believe that the last movie was as good, I guess. I've only seen it maybe half of it. The second one, I believe, that's the one ain't that the one that had, no, the third one, I think he had Brandon in. The second one had the little boy in mostly. And that was a little boy that Brandon grew up to be. The first Big Mama's House is the best. You know, sometimes the movies get better. The movies get better because of production, but I think the first Big Mama's House was the best one. But the whole man putting on a dress thing has gotten so out of hand. And I know that there's so many other actors, you know, Wesley done wore a dress and Ving Rhames has wore a dress. You know, some of our more dominant masculine performers have worn dresses. I get it. And those roles really didn't define their careers either, but they were roles but now it's just, they willing to just put a man in a dress, even if it really doesn't fit the role. Did y'all hear about, they talking about giving R. Kelly's residuals to his victims. So the money that's left, the money that's still going to come in off of his music is now going to go to his victims. It's not going to go to his kids. I'm not saying it needs to go to his ex-wife because I don't think they were together. But R. Kelly had kids. And where his kids may be even adults, those are still his kids. That's his offspring. And as a father and grandfather, they may have, you know, children too. He should be able to provide for them with the money that he made. Now, I'm not saying that the victims don't deserve some type of compensatory damages. But why does it have to come at the hands of what he is actually already earned and what has helped his family in the past? Why wouldn't that continue to help his family? Why not give those victims a sum, but not necessarily have it come from, and I know some people may think different about this, but I think that's money that he actually earned, and it should benefit his children and his grandchildren. And if there are damages that need to come through finances, then there needs to be somewhere else they go get that money. And they can still come out of R. Kelly's ass. I don't care. I just don't think that they should cut into what he actually earned. Because if they're going to do that, then every time a cop kills somebody, they need to take his pension and give it to that victim's family. They need to take any retirement dollars and give them to that victim's family. Any investments, any loose money he got. Any loose money he got, that victim's family should have. Because if they're doing this to R. Kelly, they should do it to a person that has victims as well. They're saying R. Kelly has victims. Well, what about a cop that kills somebody? I think George Floyd's daughter should have got all of Derek Chauvin's pension and all the little pensions for them other 3 minions that helped kill him. Take all that little money, put it into a cashier's check, and send it to his daughter. Not her mammy, his daughter. Because I got heat for the mammy. I got heat for that little girl's mammy. After Kanye bought him a house. I'm gonna try to sue Kanye. Come on now. How you gonna sue Kanye and he put you in a house? Kanye put you in a house, girl. You was in an apartment at best, probably. Or you was in a rental and it was subsidized. Kanye bought you a house. No, wait a minute. I might be lying. I think Kyrie bought the house. Kanye gave him like $1 million or something like that, or a couple million. Paid for her college and all kind of stuff. That's what it was. Kanye put that money on your books. For real. All the books. I got them all. I'm going to take care of this. And you want to sue him, man? Come on, dog. Come on, dog. But yeah, they say R. Kelly's money is probably going to go to his victims. And if it's going to go to his victims, and I think any police officer, anybody that kills somebody, if they got something, that money needs to go to the victim's family. Let's just make the precedent. Let's hit people where it hurts. When you got something and you go do something to somebody, it needs to come right up out your ass now. Give us that pension. Give us any investments you got. Oh, you own your house? No, you don't. Bye. Bye. If they can maintain the house and buy out the house, and they need to give whatever they can get out the house. But if they can't maintain the house to do the sale and get the money for the victim, then they got to go. I can't feel sorry for you and your kids. You just killed somebody. So I can't feel sorry for you and your kids. Leave that up to somebody else. Now their mama got to go get a job. Or if it's a woman that killed somebody, now the man got to go get a job. Or if he got a job, he got to get a second job. You want to keep it going, keep it going. But if you can't maintain the house with my money that I'm about to pull up out of it, you got to sell. You got to sell. Yep. That's what I'm saying. So I got a little off course off this thing, but I don't need to really talk a whole lot on this thing. People probably checking in wondering what I'm talking about. What I've been just talking about for a quick second now has been about R. Kelly having to give up his money. He about to have to give up his bread. He about to have to give up his bread to the victims. And I'm saying that a police officer that kills somebody should have to give up their bread if they shoot somebody, kill somebody, whatever. Period. Period. So I go through all my slides. I think I went through all the slides. Hopefully we picked up today as I talked about gatekeepers. And I know we have them here in this county. We have people, who want to talk as if they're helping American freedmen, Black Americans in this county. I'm hitting this at about 1:25, so it's at 85 minutes. Make sure I timestamp this. The gatekeepers are here, y'all. And they in our face. They in our face every day. Every day. We know it. We look at them. The preachers, the teachers, school administrations, city council people, township trustees, board members, neighborhood watch, neighborhood uplift programs, community center leaders, board of commissioners, aldermans, police, sheriffs, deputies, anybody that has an ability to have influence over people and they're not actively trying to help uplift our people, they're working against us. They're against us. Is that difficult to understand? Is it really difficult to understand that if they're not specifically putting in their agendas to uplift us, and I'm not saying only uplift us. See, that's where a lot of people get hung up on things that I say. They think that I think that anybody that is in a position of influence, power, and control should only help us. Never said that. I've never, ever said that, because that's a fallacy. That's a dream. What do they call that? An aberration? It's not going to happen. Nobody is ever going to politic for one ethnicity in this country. It's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. And once again, I appreciate everybody that's been on the live. I've seen you creep in and creep out. People that have actually put their digital footprint in the chat room. I appreciate you. If you've shared this video, I appreciate you. If you got somebody standing behind you at your desk, I appreciate you. If you end up watching this as a playback, I appreciate you. It's where we need to be in this thing. I mean, it's where we've got to be in this thing. It just ain't me in my mind.
In my mind.
It's a whole lot of people that think the same way. Think what I think. They just are afraid to say it. And that's okay. I know most people aren't going to speak as candidly as I. I've learned that. The one thing that I ask is if you're not going to speak as candidly as I about our people, for our people, don't talk against me. Because if you talk against me, but you're not speaking for us, but you're talking against me. I'm not talking about talking against our people, because you're talking against our people if you're in a position of influence, power, and control, and you don't. But if you want to talk against me and my message, please don't let me hear that. Because anybody that talks against me, now I've got to respond, and you're going to respond, and I'm going to respond. You probably won't respond after I respond. Because when I respond, I'm not going to be so nice. You weren't nice because you're talking against what I'm saying. And I don't care that you don't agree with what I say, but I'm speaking for the uplift of our people. If I'm speaking for the uplift of our people and you talk against what I say, then that means you're speaking against our people, but you're speaking about me. That's a double negative, nigga.
In my mind.
And that just ain't in my mind. So we've got to put things in play the right way out here. The first thing we got to do is we got to come together. We got to come together. Peace and respect. Appreciate you. So people jump in, and when they jump in the chat, and he's been here for a quick minute, so he's been catching the ism, that is love. Because I don't need everybody to ever say anything. You just want to throw up a peace sign, a fist, whatever. But he say he been in here, and he ain't been all up in the chat, but he's catching it. That's beautiful. That's what I need. That's what Freedmen Media needs. It needs people who I know not only putting it already in play where they at, they'll hear what I say, and they'll be like, damn, that might work on my way. And then I give them an idea. They come in, y'all chat room chatter be giving me ideas. I end up regurgitating the stuff that y'all say in the chat a lot of times. That's how I get them, because I only deal with smart folks. Dumb people, I can't take what dumb people say. I can't take what dumb people say. Absolutely not. But I got to take what the people who are in here who know more than me. So I'm not afraid to say people know more than me. I ain't never tried to be the smartest nigga in the room. I ain't never tried to be the only nigga in the room. I'm trying to tell y'all, I can get us somewhere. But if I'm going to be the smartest one in the room, it's not going to be a forever thing. Because I run too hard. I run too hard. I run too fast. I run too hot. We need people that can take us along. Where I am a vessel in this, it's right what I'm doing. My voice travels, but I want to be traveling with the right people. And that's why I believe that the black leaders that we have are failing us, and they're going to continue to fail us because we don't put the pressure on them. And in turn, they just end up putting the pressure on us. How does that happen? I'll tell you how it happens. It happens like that. That's how it happens, y'all. They put the pressure on us. And when they put the pressure on us, then we end up here. Then we end up here. Appreciate everybody checking out. We've been in here 94 minutes, checking out the live. Anybody that got into the replay and you still here, that's love. Hopefully people checked out the cast yesterday with the brother from Ann Arbor Public Schools, Will Copeland. We dug through a lot of stuff that was really more on the personal end, things that had happened to him dealing with the school system and whatnot. But there was some real talk that could have been taken out of that. Lots of it. We went almost 4 hours on that thing. I felt like I was one of my old radio shows, you know. 6-hour shifts, boy, but I was playing music mostly on then. I didn't talk nearly as much as I'm on now. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got to have a hierarchy. I get it. There's got to be a boom, 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 boom. I get it. But that hierarchy's got to be from the mindset of the collective. If the hierarchy ain't talking about what these people talking about, then they can't be the hierarchy. But we doing it backwards. We got hierarchy up there that don't listen to us, don't even look to us. They looking over across the street, though, at the POCs, at the brown people. I'm just saying. If they stopped and really thought about things, though, this is our people. This is American freedmen politicians. If American freedmen politicians really stopped and thought about it, if I'm going to help the people that are going to vote for me 70, 80% clip, just because I'm black, if I'm going to say it, I'm going to do it, because then they can keep me moving up. But what we get politicians, they don't really say they're going to do nothing for us, but they run, and just because we black, we vote for them, and then they get in office, and just like old boy said in Montgomery, if I get 38 to 45% of the white vote, he said Dwight, like Dwight Gooden, you know, Dwight Howard. No, Dwight Mann. The Dwights people. He said, if I get 38 to 45% of them, I don't even need y'all. He was talking to the blacks. He said, if he got 38 to 45% of Dwights, he don't even need the blacks. He don't have to do shit for the blacks. Because most of them gonna vote for him just because he black anyway. They just gonna be the name he knows. The blacks. We're gonna clean some parks up over there in the black community, put up some swings and shit, give them a couple barbecue grills. Let these niggas over here do the Black Lives Matter in the street. Yeah, let them do it in the street. Let them do it on a one-way street. Yeah, let them do it on a one-way street. Let them do it on a one-way street with a dead end. There you go. Yeah, Black Lives Matter sign in the paint on the street, one-way street, dead end. There you go. That's what they're going to do. They're going to do all that symbolic shit. That's what black politicians will do for you if you don't demand anything of them. Do it right this time, or you only do it right one time. That should be our motto for black politicians. Do it right this time, or you only do it one time. Your ass will be one and done. You coming in with 2 strikes, dog. You get one chance. You get one chance for romance. Because I tell you, romance without finance is a damn nuisance. And we can't keep loving on these politicians that ain't loving on us with the resources. That's an abusive relationship. I got to be getting something out of this. I got to be getting something out of this vote. You ain't going to give me nothing from a vote? You just going to abuse me? Come on, man. Please don't tell me that.
In my mind.
Please don't tell me that's in my mind. That can't be in my mind. That can't be in my thought process. Don't make me feel like that. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. So, preachers, that's who we see the most. We see the preachers more than we see the politicians. Why aren't we on our pastors to be pulling with other pastors to be getting, look, do I got to tell y'all how to organize this? Do I need to start running up on pastors? Do I need to start running up on pastors? We'll continue to get table scraps, and a lot of our people are happy with that, unfortunately. Yep. We those kind of people, man. We'll take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We like America's crab boil. American freedmen are like America's crab boil. We can take a whole lot. Well, look, we're the original chefs on this soil. So we know how to cook everything. We know how to mix it together. We can keep it separate. We can do everything with it. And we've learned how to survive on the most menial of shit. And I'm talking, we've survived on literally zero in this country. Nobody else has had to survive on zero. I know there's going to be people that be like, well, there's been poor white people. Look, the fact that they're white, don't blame me. You motherfuckers had a 246-year head start. 246 years. And white people want to talk that shit to me? You had a 246-year head start. Don't blame me if you failed. Don't blame me. If we give you 200, look, I already told most people I can beat them in a race. Fast people, give me 25 yards. They fast. But I said, if I get 25 yards, I bet you I can beat you. I only got to run 75 yards for 100. I'm not letting somebody beat me. Not letting somebody catch up 25 yards. Y'all had 246 years of dominance. We were nothing. We acquired no wealth for 246 years. You acquired all the wealth. Don't blame me if you come up broke in this society. You had a little head start, dog, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Like 50 Cent, just a little bit. 246 years, dog? Really? I'm not giving you any flex on that. And as far as anybody else that came in after the fact that y'all get resources and we don't, some of y'all ain't even had 100 years. Some of y'all ain't been in here deep since 1923. Sounds like a long time ago, but it's really not. Just 100. Y'all ain't got 100 years in pain. Y'all come over here and get everything now. Come over here illegally. Can come over here illegally now and be in better shape. Hold on a second. Y'all can come over here illegally and be in better shape than Black folks and Latino folks. What's the next one? Hold on one second. What's the next one? What's the third one up? Nepalese? Oh, absolutely. They only 43.5. That 50 grand is where that threshold is. $1,000 a week in the United States. $1,000 a week. Just think if the average American freedman made $1,000 a week. That's to get a $50,000 income. Boy, we'd hurt people out here. Because we're not just going to take that money and take it as income. We'll put that into making businesses and all types of stuff. People make money out here. Then they think of businesses, but their businesses can't sustain because they don't make that type of money. You know, the average person that makes money out here that runs their own business, that's all they do. Sometimes they have another job that they go to, but it doesn't equal the 50,000. Might be in that 35, 38 range, maybe 40,000. You know, it's not nothing to sneeze at, but it is because 40,000 is under 3 factions of people in this country. 2 of which are not native. I mean, if I can't get up to where that average American is, I mean, am I an average American freedman? Shit. I'm an American freedman. I'm an average American freedman. I don't know if I'm average, though. I might be above average. I ain't gonna kick myself like that. I might be above average. Maybe, maybe not. It could be in my mind. I don't know.
In my mind.
But this is what hurts. And why it hurts us is because we've been here the longest and we've endured the most. So that's perpetuated the trickle down. These other people are just where they are because they've been elevated, coming from somewhere else, resourced up. That's all I can really categorize it as now. Resourced up. They get all types of different shit. Everybody don't get the same shit. Everybody doesn't get the same amounts, but they've been resourced up in different ways. We can't even get that because we can't even get collected. Some people, just like you said, Brother Keith, they'll continue to get the table scraps and be happy with it. But I'm not. I'm not going to be happy with no scraps, dog. I just can't be. Ain't no way, dog. Ain't no way. I mean, if I'm in a situation where I can't see my way out of shit. See my way out of shit. I mean, I still don't even look at going to put a ski mask on. Because I'm only stealing from somebody else and causing trauma to somebody else. So I'm not going to go put a gun in somebody's face at a bank and terrorize that teller to steal $50,000, $60,000. I'm not going to go rob a liquor store, party store, convenience store, any kind of store. Because the person that owns that store, they just like me, dog. They just like me. The person they got working in that store is just like me. Because the person that owns the store and the person that works in the store, they're still on the same level, whether it's proprietor, employee, they still men, they still women. So when I look at going to stick a gun in somebody's face, what's that going to do, man? What's that going to do? What's that really going to do for me? What's that going to do for my kids? What's that going to do for my grandkids when I go stick a gun in somebody's face? Now I got to go away. I'm at the bank. I'm at the store. And then what if I put one in somebody? Now I'm going away forever. I'm going away forever. Do I even look like a person that should go away forever? Do I sound like a person that should go away forever? But it can happen. There's been people that have been way, way smarter than I, and they're sitting in jail right now because they took matters into their own hands. They took matters into their own hands, and they filled guns with those hands and knives with those hands, and they ended people's lives. Some of them actually killed people with their bare hands. Either way, they ain't here no more, dog. They ain't here no more. They gone. They in a box. They stay in a box. And they have designated days and times that they can go shower. Man, ain't nobody gonna tell me when I can wash my ass. You serious? You think I'm gonna go through that? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm gonna let a grown man, shit, or a woman tell me when I can wash my ass. Ain't no way. But there are people out here to do that. far as all that other stuff, people committing aggravated assaults against people. See, I'm not even in that realm, but the ones who are, some of them actually rob the victims. Some of them are actually robberies, and then they still do that stuff to them. Then a lot of them are just really just straight up abuse situations. Ain't no way. There ain't no come up, no way, no how in abuse. Whether I steal your wallet, pocketbook, whatever. For some of y'all, it'd be piggy banks. Don't get me started. Ain't no way, though. Ain't no way. Ain't no way I can do any of that because I ain't that type of creep. But there's a lot of creeps out here. There are creeps out here constantly on a daily doing the do to whoever just to get to come up. But that ain't me. I'm going to work with you before I work against you. But I swear for God, if you give me a reason to work against you, you need prayer. You need prayer. Y'all be good, man. Just understand. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Ain't no way for me to love you if you want. Let me. It ain't no way for me to give you all you need. If you won't let me give all of me. I know that a woman's duty is to have and love a man, and that's the way it was for me. Oh, but how can I give you all the things I can if you're tying both of my hands? Oh, it ain't no way. Ain't no way. It ain't no way.